So he warned me, better just sit over here. So over that side there's a beehive. The bees may get agitated. I remember on the 500th anniversary, anybody been to Jaipur Mandir in Barsana? Most of you have been, huh? So hanging all around the roof, you saw so many beehives. Did you? From the roof of that Jaipur Mandir, when you're going around the outside, so many beehives are there. During the 500th anniversary, I can't remember how many devotees we had, but we divided into groups, and somehow or other, the bees got agitated. And there were some poor sannyasis with only their uttari. It was nice and warm. It was after Gopurnima time, so it was nice and warm. So no kurta, just as uttariya. Bees just went wild over all the devotees. Luckily we got there at the last when they'd already calmed down a bit. Everybody warned us, so we just covered our heads and zipped on through. So anyway, he said, don't go that side, there's beehives are there. So now we're sitting beneath the Bhandirvan tree. And this is Kali Yuga, but it shrank a little bit. When you were circumambulating the temple, I don't know if you noticed, there was one picture on the right side of the back wall, and you saw the branch went right across the Jamuna. You see all these big branches going, they just go straight out like that. So the Kahur boys and the gopis, whenever they wanted to cross the Jamuna, they would just shimmy up a root like that, and then run across the branch, and then shimmy down a root on the other side. So this Jamuna is not so far from here, but now this tree is Kali Yuga, so it shrank, everything else is small. So we don't see it going across the Jamuna with our material eyes anyway. And you may have seen in the Prikrama, so many different pastimes took place here. You first came in on the left wall, there was a picture of, we'll tell this story. Krishna and Balaram and all the Kahur boys came here to Bhandirvan to play. And they divided up into two groups. And there was some type of competition. And somewhere amongst all the Kahur boys, one demon named Pralamba, he disguised himself to look just like a Kahur boy. He knew that one boy, his mother had kept him home for some reason, maybe birthday or something. So he took that form and he began to play with all the Kahur boys, just like he was another one. So when Krishna divided him up, he made sure, wasn't sure about fighting directly with Krishna, so made sure he got on Krishna's side. So anyway, Krishna's side lost. So the prize was that the winning party would be carried on the shoulders of the losing party. Just like you've seen young boys do like that, We used to do that like that also when we were younger. We used to call it chicken fighting. But anyway, we used to climb on the shoulders and wrestle with each other. So Balaram, somehow, he climbed on the shoulders of that Kahur boy who was actually Pralambasura. So they were all running around, and that Kahur boy began to run very far. And even Baldao didn't notice. Krishna noticed that this demon has come. Even Baldao hadn't noticed. And that Kahur boy began to run very far away. And Balaram was thinking, wow, this Kahur boy is going very far in the forest. What's up? And then Krishna winked at him. Then he saw that all of a sudden that Kahur boy began to change his form. He became huge. He became this big, huge, enormous demon. So then Balaram, Bal means strength, so Balaram, he just pow, smashed that demon. And he came crashing down, and just like he was like a big mountain with a molten manganese. flowing from the side of the mountain, coming from his mouth. There was so much blood, just like a big mountain with manganese flowing like that. You know, and all the Kahar boys, they all began to say, sadhu, 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 sadhu. So that was one pastime that took place in Bhandirvan. Then, in the very back, on the left side back, you saw a picture of Radharani. One time, because Krishna and his friends used to do wrestling here sometimes. There's like little boys, even big boys like to do wrestling, Pehlwan. So they were playing. So the gopis, they got the idea that let's have Radharani wrestle with Krishna. So they tucked her sari around the back, just like we see when we go to Bombay, we see the little Marathi ladies with their saris like that. So you might have seen the picture on the back. So she rolled up her sleeves, and Radha and Krishna were wrestling. But this wasn't ordinary wrestling. Each was trying to defeat the other with love. Love was trying to defeat love. This was the marvelous wrestling of Radha and Krishna. So when we crossed over the bridge to come over the Jamuna, then if you looked way down the way, when you go back, you look on because when you're going back, you'll be on the right side, you'll see a whole group of tall trees way down the bank of the Jamuna ways. They say that's Durvasa Rishi's ashram. Actually, as far as my research shows, it's on the other side of Bisramgarh in Mathura, but anyway, they have a Durvasa Rishi ashram there. Maybe different yugas, who knows. So what happened was one time Krishna was late for the rasa dance. So all the gopis were very upset. He said, well, my guru came, I had to attend to my guru, that's why I'm late. Your guru came? Bande Krishnam Jagat Guru, you're the guru to everyone? No, I also have guru, because Krishna wanted to show that if we want to advance in life, we have to take shelter of guru. Just like my very dear friend, finally he became no longer Arjun, Artha Bandhu, friend of the distressed, servant of the friend of the distressed, Artha Bandhu. Not Artha, Artha Bandhu, Artha Bandhu. You know, Artha Jigase, Artha Arti, that one Artha with just regular T and a long A. So even Krishna showed that he had a guru. So all the gopis said, well then we want to see your guru. If you have a guru, then we want to see. So yes, he's just on the other side of the Jamuna. So how are we going to cross the Jamuna? And today we came across by bridge. So now how are the gopis in 5,000 years, how are they going to go across the bridge? He said, you just go there and tell something true. And then Jamuna will let you pass. Well, what should we say? He said, we're just coming from Nandagram, where Krishna is living as a bold Dridha brahmachari, very strict brahmachari. And all the gopis looked at each other and began to laugh. So anyway, they got all their milk and butter and yogurt and atta and everything, they got all their ingredients together, and they went with these big pots and pans down to the Jamuna. They said, we're coming from Nandagram, where Krishna is living as a Dridha brahmachari. And Jamuna became ankle deep. I don't know if you noticed the big display there on the right side. You can see the water of the Jamuna just became ankle deep, and all the gopis ran across the Jamuna. And they came to Durvasa Rishi's ashram, and they cooked huge feast with all their butter, milk, yogurt, and everything. And Durvasa Rishi, in one mouthful, whoop, he ate all of their offerings. And then they said, Baba, how are we going to get across the Jamuna? You see, you go there and you tell the Jamuna that we're just coming for Durvasa Rishi's ashram, where he only drinks the ras, the juice of Durva grass. That's why he got the name Durvasa. He only drinks Durva ras. This special ras that we use, this stuff of grass that we use for the puja, you know. So they all looked at one another, they just saw him eat this huge feast all in one bite, you know. So they went to the Jamuna and said, we're coming from Dhruva Rishi's ashram, where he's only drinking the ras of Dhruva grass and nothing else. And Jamuna became ankle deep. And all the gopis laughed and ran across the Jamuna. And they said, Ek tagat guru, ek tagat chela, and dono ki beech mein tagni. Jaise guru, jaise chela, jaise tagni. This guru is a clever fellow, this chela is this disciple, he's a clever fellow, and this Jamuna, she's a little cleverini. So anyway, we're keeping you in suspense. The main lila here. In fact, this was all broken cement and everything, but the disciples of Narayan Maharaj, they made this nice mandap, and on this middle deity of Radha and Krishna and Lord Brahma, this was done by them. Later, some fellow came from, I think, Etawah. He got a dream that he should make a deity here. So on the other side, that just came a few years ago, this great big deity of Radha and Krishna and Brahma. And just now, this is the first time I'm seeing our devotees, Kratu Prabhu and his disciples from Aligarh, and somebody got dreamed that they should make one here. So this is the brand new one here with a little brass deity. This is made by Kratu Prabhu and the devotees from ISKCON Aligarh. And the best description of this pastime I've ever seen is in Shivaram Maharaj's book, Benu Geet. Because there's one chapter that describes how Krishna is he's just like the cloud. He's blackish like the cloud. He gives water like the cloud. He gives shade like the cloud. In so many ways. So in that description, he describes how one day Nanda Baba, he was in Gokul, which is, now we're on the same side of the river as Gokul, so not very far away in Gokul. He wanted to take Krishna he went out herding the cows, but when he took a few steps, he realized he couldn't stand the separation of Lala. So he went back and he got Nanda Lala and sat him on his shoulder. He just couldn't leave to go herding the cows without Krishna. So what happened was one day the sun was going down and the king of the clouds, he saw that it was a cloudy day and that the sun was going to go down, and because there was clouds, the sun wasn't going to get darshan of Krishna. And he thought, oh no, if the sun goes down without darshan of Krishna, what will happen? Maybe he'll get so depressed, he won't get up the next day. Just like sometimes we get the news that some dear and loved one has left their body. And we don't want to wake up in the morning. As long as we're asleep or unaware, if we wake up, then, oh, my friend left, my mother left, my grandfather left, We just don't want to get up. So maybe the sun won't wake up in the morning. So he decided to tell about this pastime he had seen. That Nanda Baba, he had so much love for Nanda Lala, he couldn't move out of the house without him. And hearing about Nanda Maharaj's ecstatic love for Nanda Nandan, all the clouds began to throw lightning bolts and thunder, lightning bolts and thunder. And just as that moment, the clouds parted a little bit, a little tiny golden ray of sunshine came through the clouds and struck Krishna, and then the sun set. So meanwhile, Nanda Maharaj, the cloud continued his story. He was going through the forest and he was showing all the wonders of the forest to Krishna. Who was he showing all the wonders of the forest to? That person who created all the wonders of the forest. But just to enjoy, relish, I'm going to use that word, enjoy, relish Vatsalya Ras, he was showing Krishna all the different things in the forest. Hmm? He said, oh look Lala, there's a little gilahari, there's a little chipmunk running on the tree. Oh, there's a koa, there's a crow. He said, oh, there's a, what do we have? Oh, we have big, huge poppery tree here. In a couple of weeks, little tiny green seed pods. I've never seen a flower, but just these little green seed pods become very, very special green starts coming on this tree. All the leaves fall off, and just these little green, they're flat seed pods like this. In summertime, they turn brown, like little brown paper bag, flat paper bag, and the Gurukul boys, they blow on top of the roof, and they just peel them open like that and eat the little nut inside. Oh, Lada, there's poppery tree. And then I think just behind it used to be bear tree, because now all the bear trees are bearing fruit now. You go in Prikrama Vrindavan, you see all the ladies sitting with a basket of little yellow fruits. So Lala, you say, oh Baba, what is this little yellow fruit? And Lala says, oh Lala, that's bear. Or in Sanskrit we call Badri. In Badrinath, Lakshmi, she felt sorry for her Lord because he was performing penance austerities, no shade. So she took the form of a Badri tree to give him shade. So she was so chaste to take care of her husband like that, that he became known by her name, Badri Nath. Oh, Baba, what is this tree what's got a beard? What is this tree what's got a beard? Ye kanki hair, Baba. Ye kanki pe hai, Baba. Jiski dadi hai. Ye kanki pe hai, jiski dadi hai, Baba. And Nanda Maharaj looked, he said, oh Lala, this is banyan tree. You see, he has so many roots hanging down, just like beard. And he said, oh Baba, what is this tree whose leaf has got a tail? What is this tree whose leaf has got a tail? Ye kanki pe hai, jiski patte ki poonche, Baba. Ye kanki pe hai, jiski patte ki poonche, Baba. And Nanda Maharaj, he looked, he said, just behind you, you'll see, there's peepal tree. You know, his leaf is shaped like a heart, and then comes down to a little poonch, tail. And as soon as slightest breeze is there, the leaves are dancing. And I'll tell you something special about banyan trees and peepal trees. Because in high school in the botany class, we learned that the trees give off what in the daytime? Oxygen. And what do they give off at night? But banyan trees and peepal trees give off oxygen 24/7, day and night. They're very important trees for the environment. Oh Lala, look, there's a tamal tree, just in the back there. You see this with a round thing around it. This is tamal tree. And tamal trees are always crooked and black, just like the one in our courtyard in Krishna Balaram Mandir. And when gopis are running, searching for Krishna with tears in their eyes, they can't see straight. They just see something as curved, crooked, and black, and they embrace the tamal trees. So tamal tree is representative of Krishna. And some of you were able to see back in Mansarovar, there was a huge old kadamba tree there. We saw some small ones, but there's a great big one on the gardens, very big kadamba tree. So look Lala, there's a kadamba tree. And kadamba is called kadamba because in Sanskrit kadamba means group, samu, dal, So because it's not one flower, it's a group of flowers in a little ball like this. Back here there's a Bengali kadam. They get big flowers like this. But both of them, they're a group of flowers, not just one flower, but a group of flowers in a little ball. But our Keli kadam, they grow very crooked and very slow. Bengali kadams, you throw the seed one day, next day it's up to here, next day it's up here over your head, and then and they go straight and straight. You can go back here somewhere, there's one. And our Keli kadam, they grow very slow and they're very crooked. And the flower is just the color of Srimati Radhika. So the kadamba tree is a representative of Srimati Radharani. And if you happen to see a kadamba tree and a tamal tree growing together, which you look, you see this tamal tree, You see behind it, the tamala is black, but you see growing in between the branches like it's being embraced is another tree. That's a kadamba tree. That's like getting sakshat darshan of Radha and Krishna. Then, oh Baba, what's that sound? What's that sound, Baba? And Nanda Baba listened. He says, oh Lala, that's the peacock. And the peacock is calling, K Ka, K Radha, Ka Krishna. The peacock is calling Radha Krishna, Radha Krishna. But my friend, Achyuta Prabhu, who finished building Prabhupada's Samadhi, he's from a special place in America. So he told me all the peacocks are calling, New York! New York! New York! But Rupa Goswami explains there's a deeper meaning. The peacock is calling K. If you know Bengali, K means who. Just like when Sanatana Goswami met Mahaprabhu at Kashi, then he asked him, Kiyami, who am I? And why these three miseries are bothering me. So everybody thinks I'm a big scholar, but I don't know. Kiyami, who am I? So what is the question? That Krishna, he's a great ocean of ras. He's Rasara Sri Krishna. Who is there who can possibly reciprocate with that great ocean of ras that is Rasara Sri Krishna? And the answer is coming, Ka. It is only she, Sri Radha, with her ocean of Mahabhav. She can reciprocate with that Rasara Sri Krishna. And we know when the Rasaras and the Mahabhav combine, that is our dear Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whose appearance day is coming in less than 2 weeks. Oh Baba, what's that sound? And Nanda Baba listened, he said, he said, oh Lala, that's the kokila. We say koil, but Sanskrit is kokila. And he has many different songs. That's as soon as we hear that song, we don't hear them all summer long, all winter long. Everybody's quiet except for these crows and the Vrindadevi's green parrots. They're always chattering, all winter long, summer long, all the time. But whole winter we didn't hear any peacocks. Just now it's warming up, the peacocks are coming, and as soon as we hear in the morning, I can't do it now. Somebody's doing, all right. Then you know somebody's going to turn on the heat. Then they have another one. I can't do it. Then they have another one. That one I know I can't. And their most famous one, it goes something like, and the kokilas, the female kokilas, they're very clever. Because they go in the crow's nest and lay their eggs. And then, mukti. And the baby kokilas, they cry more than the baby crows, so they get most of the nourishment. So then we heard that dogila. And we heard about the jalmurgi. And there's another bird. Lala was asking about all these sounds, and another bird was there. In Brijbhasa we call teeter. Prabhupada translated as Francolin partridge. You'll see them running along the ground. Very rarely they'll fly. They just run along the ground like that. At nighttime they go up in the tree, and then in the morning you'll hear I'm coming down, coming down, coming down. So all of a sudden, Baba looked in the whole western sky, eastern sky, was just filled with a big long line of black clouds. It was all summer long, the wind, just now it's starting, this hot wind from the Loo coming from the western desert of Rajasthan. The Loo starts to come. Right? Then at the end of the summer, the wind changes, it comes from the east. And suddenly, just like now, we've been here for a few days, we don't, some mist we see, but we don't see clouds. All of a sudden, these big black clouds appear on the horizon. And then the Baba could see the streaks of lightning, golden lightning in between the clouds. But it's too far away to hear the thunder. Then he thought, oh no, if the cows become frightened, they'll run hither and thither and hither and thither. I have to gather them and take them home before the rain comes. But by the time I can gather all the clouds, then the rain will come and Lala will get wet. Then he'll get sick. What should I do? He was bewildered. What to do? He couldn't figure out what to do. Shall I gather the cows, or maybe Lala will get wet? Maybe I take Lala home, then the cows will get scattered. Suddenly, Radharani was a little child in Babel, which is also on this side of the river, not far from Gokul. And very mystically, she took a beautiful form as a Vandevi, forest goddess. In Russian, it's very sweet. Bhagini Lesha. Forest goddess means, Vandevi means Bhagini Lesha. And she began coming through the forest. And Nanda Baba suddenly saw the whole forest was bathed with this golden luster. And as he looked, he saw the source of that golden luster with this beautiful Vandevi. And he bowed before her and he said, "Oh Devi, oh enemy of Lord Vishnu, pranam. Oh Devi, please do me one favor. Take this child home to his mother in Gokul, because the rain is coming and I have to collect all the cows." So Radharani bowed before Nanda Baba, and she took Nanda Lala into her arms and held him just close to her chest. And she was feeling, oh, he's so soft, like butter. So soft. And she headed towards Gokul with Nanda Lala. And Nanda Baba went to collect all the cows. Meanwhile, she happened to walk underneath this very tree where we're sitting today. And suddenly, Krishna slipped out of her arms and became a beautiful 16-year-old youth. Kishore. And Radharani took the form of a beautiful Kishori. Now ordinarily, when we're a little baby, to go from little tiny boy to youthhood takes many, many years. But we're not talking about ordinary children. We're talking about the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His own Ladidi Shakti. They can perform miraculous pastimes. So suddenly this beautiful Kishori was standing under this tree. At that time, Lord Brahma was just coming from Puskar, where he'd done a great yajna. And he looked down and he saw this beautiful Kishori standing under the banyan tree. And he had performed great penances in Braj. Just behind Barsana, there's a place called Sunera, because golden, Lord Brahma's complexion is golden. Remember, when after stealing all the cowherd boys and cows, when Krishna, he again saw everybody, and he got this vision of Krishna expanded everywhere, then he felt like a golden rod. So that village became known as Sunera. He performed great penances and austerities to be able to marry Radha and Krishna. Because he considered that in the future many people will misunderstand these leelas of Radha and Krishna. So let me secretly get them married. There will be no faults in their pastimes. So then Lord Brahma came with his four heads. He bowed with all his four heads on the feet of the divine couple. And suddenly, all around the tree, all in the tree, beautiful laces of pearls appeared, and beautiful canopies of embroidered cloth with little fringes hanging down, and a beautiful Yajna appeared, and so many wonderful things, a precious water pot full of water sitting in unhusked rice, and mango leaves and a fresh green coconut on top. And everything appeared, and suddenly all the Astasakis appeared in their Kishori roops, and all the cowherd boys appeared, and suddenly all the demigods appeared. And then the Sakis, they came, and they gave Radharani a beautiful garland. Every day in Krishna Balaram temple, we're just astounded at the garlands that Radha Shyam Sundar gets. But even more beautiful than that, we can even imagine. They gave Radharani a beautiful flower garland. And she came before Sri Krishna with her eyes cast down very shyly, and she put that garland around Sri Krishna's neck. And then the Sakis gave a beautiful garland to Sri Krishna. And very playfully, he threw it around Radharani's neck. And then Lord Brahma had them sit in front of the Yajna-kund. And he began to chant all of the beautiful mantras for Vivaha Yajna. And everything was going on very nicely. At some point, he stopped the yajna, and he had Radharani put her foot on the grinding stone, that you should become just as firm in your vows as a stone. He had them look at the North Star, the Dhruvalok, you should become just as fixed in your vows as the Dhruva star. And then he had Radharani come and sit on the left side of Sri Krishna, because left side is for the wife. So she sat on the left side of Sri Krishna. The Sakis came and they tied auspicious things. They took Krishna's chadar and Radharani's veil, and they tied auspicious things and tied very tight knots so they can't get out. And then Lord Brahma did the Purnahuti. At that time, all the demigods came. And the Gandharvas were singing beautiful songs. The Kinnaras were playing beautiful instruments. The Apsaras also appeared. They were all trained up by Indradyumna Maharaj, so they were dancing very beautifully. So all this wonderful thing, everybody, and then he performed the Purnahuti, and then he took rice flour as white as ground pearls, and coming from the corner of the Yajna-kund, he made 7 circles. And he had Krishna Chandra put his hand on Radharani, his right hand on Radharani's back, and take her hand. And then he had Radharani put her hand, very shyly, she put her hand on Krishna Chandra's chest. He said, you lead her through these 7 circles, and she should go with her right foot first, and shouldn't cross with the left foot. And you lead her into each circle. And then Lord Brahma, he chanted auspicious mantras, one for wealth, one for piety, one for lots of animals, nice car, and nowadays. So this is called Saptapadi. And according to our Hindu law, as soon as the couple has taken those 7 steps together, they are now officially husband and wife. Because it's considered, if they will take those 7 steps together, then they will walk together for the rest of their lives. So Lord Brahma declared them husband and wife, and everyone began to make that beautiful ulu sound. And then Lord Brahma, with his 4 heads, he bowed down at the feet of the divine couple, begging for bhakti for their lotus feet. And then, although he didn't want to leave this beautiful scene, impelled by Yogamaya, he mounted his swan carrier and left. And all the devas and devis, they didn't want to leave, but impelled by Yogamaya, everybody left. And Radha and Krishna were left alone. And Radharani, who's been cooking since the beginning of time and never cooked the same thing twice, she began to cook a wonderful wedding feast. And then with her own hand, she fed that feast to Sri Krishna. Then she took Sri Krishna's remnants. After washing their mouths and hands, Then Krishna began to stroll with Radharani through this beautiful Bhandirvan forest. We came to Vrindavan looking for a forest, and we saw big buildings like our Bombay. We said, what is this? But here we can see, especially behind. Actually, we just went, before you came, we tried to go into the forest. It's become so thick you can't even walk into it anymore. The beautiful, they put a nice wall around to protect this forest. So they began to wander through the forest, and Krishna was showing Radharani all the wonders of the forest. And suddenly they came to the bank of the Jamuna, and there was many beautiful colored minerals. Oh, actually what happened was first there was a clearing, and the sand, this dust of Braj was just like Chintamani jewels. It was just like a dancing dice. And Radha and Krishna began to dance, and dance, and dance, and dance. And they were whirling and twirling. Even the peacocks, who were very proud of their dancing, they folded their tails and came to watch the dancing of Radha and Krishna. All the forest animals came to watch the dancing of Krishna. And you've seen in India, whenever there's some performance and somebody comes with a note and waves it around, no chavar, But peacock's just an animal of the forest. He doesn't have any money. What can he give? So he took one of his tail feathers and he offered one, just simple tail feather he offered to Krishna. And Krishna accepted it as something very valuable. So valuable that he put it on top of his crown. And Radha and Krishna danced and danced and danced. When they were finally tired of dancing, they wandered down to the bank of the Jamuna to refresh themselves. And there was rocks with so many beautiful colored minerals. And Krishna dipped his fingers in those minerals and began to paint beautiful paintings on Radharani's limbs, all around her eyes and on all her limbs, like that. Then Radharani, she touched those minerals to paint Sri Krishna, and suddenly he became a little boy crying because now the thunder was coming close. And she began to wail, "Oh Prananath, don't show me this illusion. Where have you gone? Oh no, where have you gone? Where have you gone?" Then a voice as deep as thunder came from the sky. "Hey Radhe, steer ho jao, become steady. In due course of time, all your desires will be fulfilled. But now you take this boy home to his mother Yasoda before the rain comes and he gets wet." So she composed herself and picked up Krishna, held him close to her chest, and she ran through the forest. And she reached to the palace of Nanda Baba, and she entered that palace. And the king of the clouds said, "I couldn't see what happened when she entered the palace. But there was a Chatki bird. He was sitting in the window. He told me that suddenly Mother Yasoda saw the whole palace bathed with this golden luster. And as she looked in the doorway, she saw this beautiful golden lustered Bhandevi coming, and she bowed before, "Oh Devi, oh energy of Lord Vishnu, pranam." And then that Bhandevi announced that your husband Nanda Baba, he sent me with this child because the rain is coming. He was afraid he'll get wet and sick. So you please take this child. And she gave that child to Mother Yasoda, who just held him close to her chest. And she also, oh, so soft like butter. And then Bhandevi bowed, and very mystically, she again assumed a little form in her room in Raval. And Mother Yasoda bathed Lala and fed him and put him to rest. Hearing this wonderful story from the king of the clouds, all the clouds began to throw lightning bolts so fast, sometimes you can count 1, 2, but you couldn't even get to 2 before the other ones were happening. So many lightning bolts, all the clouds were so joyful hearing this pastime, and so much thunder was there. And Mother Yasoda became frightened. What will happen to my Lala? All this noise. And she ran into Lala's room, and she saw that he was sleeping very peacefully with this beautiful smile playing on his lips. And Mother Kirti in another part of Braj, she became frightened for her daughter, and she ran to her room, and saw that she was sleeping very peacefully with a beautiful smile playing on her lips. Both the mothers saw two different parts of Braj. Radha and Krishna were sleeping very peacefully as they dreamed about their fantasy wedding underneath this Bhandirvan tree where all of you are sitting today. Jai Jai Sri Ram. Yeah.